Do subscribe Learn Nepal for more videos. Dear friend, once again I come back with the passive voice. This is part 2, and this video is including unit 5 simple past passive and unit 6 present continuous passive, which are very important for your board examination. So let's begin. Unit 5 simple past passive. So first let's see the structure of simple past active, subject, V2 and object, and we are changing this into passive. First we put object and then we use appropriate form of to be verb, and here is V2 past, therefore we are using was or were, and then we are changing this verb V2 into V3 and by plus subject if necessary. Once again, subject V2 object active and passive was were plus V3. So let's see some examples. First question, somebody cleaned this room yesterday. Yes, this is simple past tense because subject V2 and object. So while making passive, use object first. This room, this is past, therefore was, and V3 cleaned yesterday. This room was cleaned yesterday. Similarly, they called an ambulance. So see, an ambulance and called is past, therefore was, and ambulance was called. Similarly, they didn't invite me to the party. So see here, did plus V1, it means it is past one, but it is in negative. It means we have to use was not or were not. So first use object, me, it comes in the position of subject. In subjective case, I was, this is negative, therefore was not. Then V3 invite, invited to the party. I was not invited to the party. Did they kidnap her? See, this is interrogative, this is a questions. So while changing into passive, you should not change it in assertive sentence. You have to make passive in interrogative. So here did plus V1, it means simple past, therefore you are beginning with was or were. But here see object her, it comes in the position of subject being she, and she it takes was, therefore was she kidnapped. V3 of kidnap is kidnapped. So in this way, while making simple past passive, we have to use was were plus V3. So let's do practice of unit 5 workbook simple past passive. And you know the structure of simple past passive is object and then was were and then V3, and if you want to put agent, use by plus subject. So let's do it. Choose appropriate verb and make passive. So we have to choose appropriate verb to make passive. See the first question, Mona Lisa, Leonardo da Vinci. So this is a painting, therefore appropriate verb is paint. So let's make sentence in simple past passive, was were plus V3. Mona Lisa singular, therefore was, and appropriate verb is paint, therefore V3 form is painted by Leonardo da Vinci. Mona Lisa was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. Similarly, St. Paul's Cathedral, Christopher Wren. This is a building, therefore it is designed. So design is appropriate verb here. So let's make passive. So begin with St. Paul Cathedral. St. Paul Cathedral singular, therefore was, and V3 designed by Christopher Wren. St. Paul's Cathedral was designed by Christopher Wren. Penicillin, Alexander Fleming. So penicillin, yes, it is discovered. So penicillin was discovered by Alexander Fleming, was discovered. London fire 1666. So Yes, London, it got destroyed. So appropriate verb is destroy. So London, simple past passive, was, then V3, destroyed by fire or in fire. You can also use in fire or by fire. And before the year, you use in 1666. London was destroyed by fire or in fire in 1666. Similarly, the floss lavatory, Thomas Crapper, yes, he invented this, therefore invent. The floss lavatory, singular, therefore was invented by Thomas Crapper. Similarly, the pyramids, ancient Egyptian, yes, pyramids built. So the pyramids, see, the pyramids is plural, therefore were. The pyramids were, B3 form of build is built by ancient Egyptian. Similarly, President Kennedy, Dallas, 1963. So here Dallas is not a person, it is a place. So here President Kennedy, Dallas in 1963 means assassinate. So President Kennedy was assassinated, was plus V3, was assassinated. This is a place, therefore not by Dallas but in Dallas. And here is year, therefore use in before it, in 1963. President Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas in 1963. So words, McEnroe, 1981 Wimbledon final. I mean, this is a game. Here is appropriate verb is beat. Yes, obviously. Burrs was beaten. V3 was plus V3 was beaten by McEnroe, and here is year, therefore in 1981 Wimbledon final. The last one, see, the Society of Authors, 1884. This is an institution, so it is obviously established. So here appropriate verb is found, and this is not the, you can say, V2 form of find. Find, it means to discover, yes, or to get, but here found, this is V1 form and it means establish. So here this institution, it was established, not found, therefore found, this is V1, and V3 form of found is founded. So the Society of Authors was, this is an institution, therefore singular, was founded, and here is year, therefore in 1984. The Society of Authors was founded in 1984. So now let's move to Unit 6, Present Continuous Passive. So first, be familiar with the structure of present continuous active, subject, and then is, am, are, and then V4, and then object. But here we are composing two sentences. First, active using there is or there are, and then we are composing passive, present continuous passive. So while composing active sentence using there is or there are, let's see the structure. First, we use there, and we use the same auxiliary verb that is given in the question, is or are, and then we use the same subject, and then V4, and then object. It means there is or there are plus subject, V4 and object. And present continuous passive, see the structure. First we use object while making passive, and then according to object we use is, am, or are. This is continuous, therefore we are using being, and then we are using past participle form of the given verb, that is V3, or V4 should be changed into V3. So structure is object, is, am, are, being plus V3. For example, let's see, somebody is watching us. So first change it using there is or there are. So there and is, subject somebody, then V4 watching us. There is somebody watching us. Now change it into passive. Somebody is watching us. Us is object, therefore bring it in the position of subject in its subjective case. We, and we takes are, we are making continuous passive, therefore being plus V3, being, and then watching, change it into V3, watched. Similarly, is anybody looking after the children? See, this is interrogative sentence, therefore we have to make active or passive in interrogative form or in the form of questions. So let's do first. Is there anybody looking after the children? And passive. Are the children being looked after? Here we are using are because our subject the children, it is plural, therefore are the children. This is continuous, therefore we are using being, and then V3 looking, looked, and after. So are the children being looked after? Similarly, let's do some of the questions that are given in unit 6, and we are changing them into 2 using there is or there are, subject V4 plus object, or passive object is MR, and then being plus V3. Someone is following us. There, and in the given question there is, so use the same auxiliary verb. There is someone following us, and make it passive. Here object us, bring it in the position of subject. We takes are, we are, this is continuous, therefore being, and then V3 following, followed. We are being followed. Similarly, some men are pulling down the house. It means there are some men pulling down the house. And passive, put the object first. The house, it is singular, therefore is continuous passive, being pulled down. Another car is overtaking us. So there is subject another car, V4 overtaking us. Passive, use object first. We are continuous passive, being plus V3, being overtaken. Someone is looking after the children. So there is someone looking after the children. And passive, first use object, the children, plural, therefore are, being plus V3, being looked after. Similarly, 2 policemen are questioning the man. So there are 2 policemen questioning the man. And passive, first use object, the man is, this is singular, is continuous passive, being plus V3, being questioned. Similarly, a man is feeding the tigers. So there is a man feeding the tigers. And passive, use object first, the tigers, it is plural, therefore are, and being plus V3, being, V3 form of feed is fed, being fed. Nobody is using the car today. So see, there is nobody using the car today, or you can also compose using negative marker not. There is not, but here you have to use anybody instead of nobody because you have already used not. So there is not anybody using the car today. There is not anyone using the car today. And passive, object first, the car is not being used today. Similarly, nobody is guarding the prisoner. There is nobody guarding the prisoner, or there is not anyone guarding the prisoner. And passive, the prisoner is not being guarded. Similarly, is anybody making the tea? Yes, this is interrogative one. I have already told you, while changing it into active or passive, you have to compose in interrogative form, in the form of questions. So, is there anybody making the tea? Put question mark. And passive, put object. Our object is the tea, it is singular, therefore we have to use is. Is the tea, now being plus V3, being made. Similarly, is anyone using this room? Again, it is interrogative and you know what to do. So, is there anyone using this room? And passive, here the room or this room is going to be our subject. This room is singular, therefore here you have to use is. So, is this room being plus V3 being used?